Well, hi, everybody, it's another Conversations with, and I'm Dick Vaughn. And with me today is Dr. Matt Halleck. And Dr. Matt is with Bay State Dentists.
Yep, Bay State Dental.
And you just opened a new location in Sturbridge.
Correct.
At the Hobbs Books Plaza.
That's right next to Famous Footwear and Michael's, I
Michael's.
guess.
Well, they know what Michael's is.
Yeah, that's right.
They know what Michael's is.
That's a good store.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about dentistry, because one of the things that I can honestly tell you is today's dentist is not your father's dentist anymore. It has changed. I mean, the new equipment that you have, and even the procedures. I mean, the things they can do today that they couldn't do 10 or 15 years ago.
True.
It's just unbelievable, some of the new things. So why don't we chat a little bit about,
Sure.
because it has changed dramatically.
It has. Well, I can go down a list of
Go,
stuff that
let's
can be
go.
there. So there's, I can start off with like X-rays. X-rays are digital now, so they're instantaneous, and on those X-rays we can take specific measurements. Say if we're doing a root canal, or say if we're trying to place an implant or something. So in our location there too, we have what's called a CBCT, which is a cone beam. It's like a CAT scan of someone's mouth.
Wow.
So let's say you lose a tooth and you want to have it replaced, and you don't want to have a bridge done, which could mean drilling on other teeth. We have implants that can be placed in bone if there's enough bone. And right away from these new CBCTs, you can take measurements, and you can see if you have a good quality bone to have an implant placed, which
Let's
is
talk
certainly
about
a great-
X-rays, because
Sure.
there's a lot of people out there who think, I don't know why they have to do those X-rays.
Right.
And let's chat about that. Why is that important, for instance, for you as a dentist to be able to, what do you really find out?
So, we take X-rays because you want to get on top of a problem sooner than later. And I know dentistry and how it's been over the years, people generally don't go to the dentist unless they have a problem.
Right.
We try to get ahead of it. For me personally, I'd rather do a filling than cut a tooth down and do a crown. That's me. I mean,
Right.
I'm a conservative guy. I'm a conservative dentist. Try to do what's best for the patient, and that's what we would look for. And that's why every 2 years or so, or 1 or 2 years, depending on the incidence of cavities that you get, or decay or breaks, we like to take X-rays just to see if anything's going on. I mean, it's always good to leave a dentist saying you got a good, clean bill of health, and we're sure of it. We also like to catch if there's any type of cancer or anything early on.
Yeah.
Oral cancer in the United States is it's somewhat on the rise a little bit, and that was due to the human papillomavirus.
Yep.
And it's a terrible, terrible thing, oral
Oh.
cancer, and you don't want to be involved in it. There's so much that can go wrong, and if we can, head it up
Well,
early.
you mentioned that, and I have a great dermatologist that I see, and she is over in Southbridge, and she checks me every 3 or 4 months, because people don't realize the exposure to the sun. And as kids, we all went to the beach, and and now they got pools in the backyard, and they can't wait to get a tan.
Yep.
And as Catherine says, stay out of the sun. But as you get older, and like she said, the same as you, if I can catch a little spot now, and I got it now, boy, that's going to save you a lot of pain and problems.
Yeah, quality of life goes way
Yeah.
down if that
Yeah.
metastasizes
Yeah.
or something. And also for oral, it is a secondary spot. If we catch something there, then a lot of people avoid the doctor, and then they get a toothache and see the dentist, and we catch something. It's not great news, but hopefully it's something that we can get ahead.
But again, it's like everything else. If you get it,
Yeah.
it's amazing what they can do.
Right. Exactly.
It's if they wait too long,
Yeah.
and then the party could be over.
Yeah.
But X-rays are very important.
Yeah, they're very important. And actually, our digital X-rays have the radiation that some people worry about. That has gone down significantly. I mean, it's very significantly.
Yeah.
The sensitivity of the equipment certainly helps out, and it certainly helps out with people saying, okay, I can get an X-ray, not worry about the radiation exposure to
Right.
that. So it's certainly gone down, and it's certainly helpful, and it certainly allows us to plan things.
Right.
And then on top of X-rays, there in CBCT things, we have digital intraoral.
CBCT.
Yep, that's the cone beam
Okay.
CAT scan that we're
Right.
talking about. There's also we also can take digital, almost three-dimensional photos of your mouth instead of taking our regular impressions where you've had, the assistant would mix up a bunch of goo and
Put it on
put
a
it in your
little
mouth.
metal thing and shove it up.
That's right. So in certain situations, we can use it's basically a camera that goes in your mouth and it puts a three-dimensional picture of your teeth. More and more, we're using it to basically capture any changes. So maybe every 3 years you get a scan. It only takes 5 minutes, and it's pretty easy. And you compare it to what your teeth looked like 3 years ago. And these teeth are shifting, or this is wearing down more. Maybe we can address it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it could be something as simple like what you hear about on TV with the Invisalign or the Clear
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
If your teeth are shifting or moving, your bite is changing, things are happening, we can straighten it back out and hopefully prevent some further damage. That's also an advancement that's
Well,
going
now
on.
they've got. I mean, you see the TV ads.
Oh, yeah.
Was it CEREC, where they now
CEREC,
you can do your teeth in a day
Yep.
if you needed new teeth.
Yeah.
They
So that's something that's possible too. They have milling units in the offices where they could take a scan of it, and then a crown can be developed through a milling unit. There's a
Yeah.
block of zirconium or what have you, and it just mills it up and has a nice looking tooth that can be
Right.
done in hour and a half. In certain situations that's good.
But you
it works
mentioned
well.
because I've had it done. I had when I was a little kid. Tell you the story. My mother had braces for me, and this is back in the 40s,
Uh-huh.
and my braces came off, and I was playing football, and we didn't have nose guards in those days. We were tough kids.
That's right.
And bang, the two front teeth got cut, and they broke off the bottoms. And Dr. Manganaro was our dentist at the time, and he tried for weeks to try to save them.
Yeah.
And of course they were gone. I mean,
Yeah.
they started to turn, and so I had a little bridge for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then back when I was in Ware, Dr. Cohen came into town, a new young dentist, and he said, "What are you fooling with that for?" So he put these front four in,
Yeah.
and they've been there now 50 odd years.
Oh, great.
And but he took the teeth that were there,
Uh-huh.
and he cut them down and made little fangs, and then put this right on.
Right.
And they don't do that anymore now.
Well, we do it in certain situations. That's called a bridge.
Yeah.
But in using the technology that we have now, let's say we had a scan of your mouth,
Yeah.
right? Well, we could duplicate that right away without even, I would just push a button and that scan would bring, if you ever had
Yeah.
any trauma, like you said, you could just say, oh, you want the teeth the way that they were? We have a scan of it. We
Yeah.
can duplicate that,
Yeah.
and just like a bridge or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, my father was very similar. He ate a hockey puck when he was
Oh
young.
yeah. Well,
So
I played hockey too, but they were gone by then. So.
Oh, there you go.
But the thing is that no, I mean, and it has changed so dramatically. Now they have them. They put like a little metal thing, and the whole thing fits onto it.
Yeah, those can be implants or implant posts.
Yeah.
So if you're missing a tooth like that, they would have some implants placed. The bone would incorporate around it. I mean, you still have to maintain them like a
Yeah.
regular tooth, but
Yeah.
it's associated with the body a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And we either screw them in or cement them in over
Yeah.
the implants, and that's a great restoration.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. That the changes
Mm-hmm.
that have gone on, in dentistry is
Yeah.
just incredible.
Well, implants have been around for the early
yeah.
80s, late 70s, and they had blade implants, which
Yeah.
were like a big. It took a lot more than just a simple screw, but they've been advancing the coating, the incorporation of the
Yeah.
bone, and how they're placed has gotten more mainstream, and more dentists, I think,
Yeah.
are able to do it more. So.
Yeah. Well, especially now, where like you say, things have just changed so dramatically.
Yep.
I mean, it's a different world.
It is. We can be more conservative with our treatments and just say our fillings. I mean, way back when we used to have silver fillings where you'd have to make a big hole to,
Yeah.
to fill in with silver, and the silver had to be a proper thickness
Yeah.
so that it had its strength. If it wasn't thick enough, it was going to break on you
That's
and
right.
you'd be doing it over. And now we have, bonded restorations that help incorporate into the tooth, hopefully seal off the tooth.
Yeah. And they're the
reduce
same color.
Right, in tooth color.
Yeah.
And that certainly we can be more conservative with our treatments. They even have some things out here that come out that if you're just starting a cavity, it's actually kind of like almost like you paint things on there, and it helps kind of remineralize the cavity, so you don't need drills or you don't need
wow.
anything like that. So that's something that is help. We're trying to be more conservative,
Right.
As time progresses, we'll always have teeth that break due to
Oh, yeah.
trauma, due to a bad
Yeah.
bite, due to something. We hope to reduce the amount of cavities, meaning our sugar intake, and using more fluoride and taking care of them more.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be a tooth that breaks, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
sitting in the wrong
Well,
way.
everybody has, that's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize. Not all teeth are the same.
Right.
Some people have real hard teeth. Some people have soft teeth.
Yep.
And depending on you take a big bite of something, and you can crack it or break it.
True. I mean, I like to say that if you're biting on something a certain way for a long period of time, it may give. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's called yield strength in engineering. It's like when you bend a paperclip back and forth.
Yeah.
The last time you pulled it apart,
Yeah.
it wasn't any harder than the rest,
No.
but you just hit it just right, and
That's
it
right.
got weakened, and
That's
that's
right.
what happens.
One other thing. Let's talk about when should somebody really start. To properly go through life with a quality mouth. Let's call it that. When should people start to bring a young person to a dentist?
I think the American Pediatric Dentists Association really would like to see them in their first year. And really those appointments are just getting used to the dentist, making it a friendly place,
Yeah.
building rapport. Usually around 18 months, more teeth are coming in.
Yeah.
Kids are chewing on things
Yeah.
because their baby teeth are coming in. Parents are being concerned about,
Yeah.
are they taking care of them properly? Are they not having juice in their bottle and things like that? And, 18 months I think is a fair amount to get them in, get them used to it, making sure we have a good assessment that they've developed properly
Right.
and are coming in. And then you build rapport throughout, every year or 6 months
Yeah.
for those young kids. And then they kind of have, lose the edge on, a dentist.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know how much. I guess it's more imagined than real,
True.
But there's that. Oh, I got to go to the dentist.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of it goes back to your father's dentist,
Right.
where the minute you walked in, they had a drill going.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
right.
And some of those in the old days, boy, they almost smoked.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
They get those things going in there,
That is true.
to clean out a cavity, and so people, and it wasn't fun, and it hurt,
Yeah.
and now they're so different, you almost don't even feel it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think we've had some improvements in our anesthetic, improvements in our anesthetic technique. I think our anesthetic can be more profound now, and you have a comforting. I believe our dentists are trained to understand that most people have a fear of the dentist. I mean, just laying there in a chair with your mouth open,
Yeah.
you're in a vulnerable
Well, not only
position,
that-
and nobody wants to
Not
be in a
only that,
vulnerable
I mean,
position.
when you're in that kind of a situation, the fact are that you're not. Normally, people don't walk around with their mouths wide open.
Exactly.
And someone prodding in there.
That's right.
So you get it does. You can start to feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. It starts to ache.
That's right. Yep.
And so it's funny, and it's a situation that is so important that people. And we do these programs with different folks, and I keep stressing, it's important that you pay attention to these programs that we do and take heed, because there's a lot of information that people need to understand. And while we can talk about being quote unquote afraid of the dentist, there's nothing really to be afraid of.
No, honestly, I go in with the mentality that everyone's really afraid, and we try to be calming and
Yeah.
and reassuring that we're gonna do right.
Right.
And also just to worry about people's overall health. I mean, just coming to the dentist and getting good cleanings and you know the association with, you know, inflammation that's just sitting around in our body. I mean, that's not good for the rest of our
No.
body. Having a chronic infection or anything like that, as long as we can keep them clean. I mean, there's been studies with pregnant women who, you know, back in the day said, oh, if you're pregnant, don't go to the dentist. Well, you should go to the dentist. You shouldn't have that inflammation and bacteria because there's been associated with, you know, problems in utero with children, low birth weight babies, and periodontal disease. There's a new study out about periodontal disease may have a link with Alzheimer's. I mean, anytime the body has to fight an inflammation or an infection, it's taking away from its defenses, I suppose, in other places, whether that's true or not. But just think about it mechanically. I mean, if we get things under control in one area, then the body has less to worry about in others.
Well, you know, one of the things I did for a while, back some years, I used to go volunteer at Tufts Dental when it'd be a new product, and I'd go down and I'd have to try it and write everything down. You know,
that's great.
And the thing is that people don't realize the amount of effort that goes into just making a toothpaste.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I did a study for about a year, and there was I think 10 of us, and we each had a different actual formula, and they measured us and everything else. And this was research and development by I forget which one of the companies it was, but it was to develop a new toothpaste, you know, that was going to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so it's real, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, some of the newer toothpastes have something in it that makes the, like to say, the fluoride stick to your teeth more when you're done. So you have that glycerin feeling on your teeth. I mean, it seems like every month they come out with a new toothpaste. It's tough to keep up with that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I always tell people one of the funniest things, because I was in broadcasting and marketing for 60 odd years, and it was interesting. I did a lot of studies, and I did a big study at Wharton School on marketing. And the interesting thing is, the word "new" is the most powerful word in marketing. The word new, because everybody likes to try something new.
Of course.
And so we did a case study on Tide. Now, you may not remember it, your parents will. Back in the late 40s, it was called Oxydol. And that was the soap powder that you used to do your washing. Well, that became, Oxydol no longer exists, but that's now Tide. Okay. So they changed the name because Oxydol, what that kind of a name is that? But at any event, about every 18 months, we'll have a cycle. And they use the word new. And Tide has done it 11 times. Now, the interesting thing is, what's in that bottle has never changed.
There you go.
It is exactly the same one. But they bring out a new Tide. Now, one time, it was that in the plastic bottle, they had a clear piece of plastic. So you could see how much Tide was left.
Right, yeah.
And they called it New Tide.
There you go.
And their sales went up. And then the next time, they had a spout that you could pour. So it was New Tide once again. And another time it was a new top that you could actually measure, put the Tide in the top, and that was called New Tide. So I always get a kick out of that. And you talk about marketing. So, you know, and I had a great friend at Mass General, my PCP, and I was telling, he teaches over at Harvard also, and I was telling Dr. Gorel, I said, hey, Alan, you want to come out new? You know?
That's right.
And he started to laugh. He says, well, the funny part is there's a lot of things new.
That's true.
And he said, but we don't say it. You know, we don't. It's just like my operation. They didn't do it 3 years ago, and there's only 6 doctors in the country who do it, and he was one of the 6. You know, and so it's unbelievable the changes, and the same in dentistry. I mean, you watch the ads, you know, on TV and the various, and you hear the radio ads. You know, he does the CEREC treatment, or he does this, all new, and actually breakthroughs, really. And so it's come a long way.
It has. I mean, it's, you know, I suppose in the health and medical and dental profession, saying something new is someone can be
intimidated too.
intimidated
Sure.
by it because they're like, oh, well,
Wait a
so
minute.
is this going to work?
How long have you done this?
Yeah, that's right. How long have you done this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these things have been around, and when they become more mainstream, they seem to be, they're pretty well proven,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of these things are coming about. And that's
Do you have to, as a dentist? I mean, you must constantly have to bring yourself.
Oh, yeah,
If something new comes up, or something. I use the word new again.
Yeah.
But something comes out that's different or exciting. You have to be involved in that.
right. So, and Massachusetts has requirements for doctors and how many hours of continuing education they have to do. Most doctors go above and beyond
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and like we travel around the country for schooling and for not just weekend courses but week-long courses.
Yeah.
Some are hands-on courses. I've been to several academies in Las Vegas. I've been to Florida.
Yeah.
And just these big conferences or even hands-on work.
Well, it gives
and
you
we
a
treat
chance
patients.
too, though. Think about that. It gives you a chance to meet with other
Right.
dentists, and you can, sometimes it's amazing what you learn just talking to
Oh, true.
somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the broadcast and marketing business for years, and I used to order every year. I'd go, and we used to have a week, and we'd go away. We went to Wharton one year, the University of Notre Dame, and we'd have these various professors, and it was all about management.
Right.
So you learn new and exciting management skills, because one of the problems we all have is once you get used to doing something, you always do it.
Right.
And yet there's, the world's changing around you.
That happens all the time in dentistry, and I think one of the benefits of me being in part of a group practice where there's other dentists that we can bounce ideas off of in treatment plans
Yeah.
or whatever. I think it's great. Like I have, I'm kind of in the middle of my career, and I have some, guys just out of school. They're giving me suggestions or telling me things that they
Yeah.
just have, and then I have people who are, 15 years beyond me
yeah.
telling me, well, this is my experience, and you should.
Well, that's
do
the other.
this.
That's the other thing. Life being what it is, you can get a situation where all of a sudden something happens. You've got a patient, and wow, what's this? I never.
Exactly.
Oh, I never saw this before. Now we got to figure out what this is.
Yeah.
And so you've got those sources that you can tap into. And get your answers.
Yeah, it's helpful. I mean, and then talk about technology and communication. Us doctors, we have 20 of us in the practice. I mean, we're texting. We have a WhatsApp. We have email. It's showing. Our phones are HIPAA compliant now, so we can send not patient name, but we send an X-ray.
Yeah.
What does this look like to you?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes right on our phone, and
Yeah.
it's kind of neat.
But think about that for a second. Look at the benefit for the patient.
Oh yeah.
You're tapping into some resources, and all of a sudden, 2 or 3 different people have input, and you come up with a solution
Yep.
to help that patient, and think about that as a I mean, just in your practice, there's 20 of you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and so look at that. It's not just a one-man store.
Yeah.
You've got a plethora of qualified, quality people that you can tap into.
Yep, and it really is helpful, and I think that's the way medicine has gone, and
Oh, yeah.
dentistry has gone, and who
How many
knows?
locations do you have?
Right now we have 13 locations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're mostly in Western Massachusetts, from the southern border to the northern border up
Yeah.
to Greenfield, and
Yeah.
we go as far west as Westfield, and this is as far east as we've gone. And
Wow.
we've
Yeah,
been
what made you
very
decide to come
blessed.
to Sturbridge? That's interesting.
I'm originally from Ludlow.
Okay.
And I drove through the area, and I liked the area, and I really thought that it'd be a good community to serve.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, since we moved in, we've got here, the community has been fantastic.
Wow.
Chamber of Commerce,
Oh, yeah.
Sturbridge, Charlton, everybody has been so welcoming and nice, and it's just been great. It's been fantastic.
Well, that's good, though. But it's good to know that in addition to the Sturbridge location, there's 12 others.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
and we all share our records, so that
Wow.
if for some reason we're not available and one of our other offices are available, your records are right there, and we
Yeah.
can tap into those. And a couple of doctors, myself included, are on staff at the hospital, at Bay State Hospital. If for some reason general anesthesia is needed for your dentistry, we do that too.
Wow.
So we do quite a bit.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And now what's Sturbridge open?
Sturbridge, we're open Monday through Friday. We're
Yeah.
open late on Mondays till 7 o'clock because we're just getting going. We're trying to
Yeah.
expand our hours a
Yeah.
little bit. We were open last Saturday, and we're going to try to explore some more Saturdays. It's
Yeah, because from that standpoint, someone who works Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
and let's say they work 8 to 5,
Yeah.
that gives them an opportunity, and that eliminates an excuse.
That's right. Yeah, we try
'Cause-
to open our evening hours and open some Saturdays, and
Good.
it's just that's how we try to serve the community. I mean, we're pretty aware that not many people want to take time off from their job to,
Well,
to go to the dentist,
yeah,
and then
some of them can't either.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, and it becomes tougher and tougher.
Yeah, but and it's a great location.
Oh, beautiful location.
And you have plenty of parking.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
And you're off the highway. It's
That's
great.
right. It is.
No, it is, and it's and you did a lot of work in there too when you went in there and cleaned it
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I believe it was the optician, I
Yeah,
think,
optician was in
beforehand,
there, yeah.
and it was just a nice spot, and I think it's very attractive, and it's just a nice place where people, and we get people walk by all the time, walk in, and get them an appointment, and it's
Good.
good too.
Oh, that's great. No, it's there's no question about it, and it's so important for people to understand, and especially as they get older. A lot of times people don't realize they when they're younger, mom and dad make sure they go to the dentist, and then they get out on their own, and they don't need that anymore.
They
And then
forgot
all of
it
a
until
sudden,
they have a
as
problem.
you get along, and all of a sudden you get a break or a crack, or you get an ache or a pain, and now you're against the wall. Okay, now I got to make a decision. I got to go.
And then the association with people who have systemic problems or diseases, and I just got this last week. An insurance company informed me of patients who have either diabetes or a heart condition, and they said that they're going to cover more procedures for those patients because they want to make sure that there's no association between the two. This is the first time that I've ever seen an insurance
company reaching out.
Reaching out and saying,
Yeah.
listen, this patient here has uncontrolled diabetes. They need
needs
to
this,
have their
yeah.
cleanings 4 times a year rather
Yeah.
than 2. And we're happy to cover it. I go, that is shocking.
That's good.
And
But
that's a
but
good
it's-
thing.
but it's a good thing.
It is an excellent
It's a
thing.
good thing. No, there's no, and
Because-
there's a lot of dental plans out there too, which is
Right.
important.
Yeah.
I saw a thing the other day, and I'm sure you're aware of it. That now there's a controversy about flossing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's important or not, or whether it really means anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that article. I mean, and then when do you floss, before or after you brush your
Yeah,
teeth?
yeah.
I just, in my opinion, anything to get your teeth clean and reduce inflammation is fine by me. You can use a water pick, you can use a floss.
I do it.
Anything's good.
I do it, and I saw the article, and I said I'm going to continue to do it because it can't hurt me. you
Yeah,
know.
right.
It can't hurt.
No, it
and I
can't
buy those
hurt.
little plastic ones with the little handle, and I can go boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom,
yeah,
and
those
they're
are
done.
perfect. Yeah, those are
and I even got them with mint, so they even have a little zing to them.
That's
so-
right, that's right.
But I said to myself, you know what? It can't hurt me,
That's right.
And if nothing else, and especially if you're just eating, like I have my breakfast, then go and brush my teeth, I can save the toothbrush a lot of work.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it works out great. Well, Dr. Matt, I want to thank you very, very much for coming. It's been
Sure.
terrific, and I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time. It's
Well,
great.
I'm glad, and I think that folks need to be aware that it's very, very important. It's right where they are, and you use this thing all day long.
That's right.
And you probably use that more than any other, if you're a good talker especially.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's the story. So there you are, folks. That's another Conversations with.